Hello, this is Brad again. Today I just did a quick video. I was working on my 97 80 series Land Cruiser. I had developed a radiator leak, or at least a coolant leak, that was dripping off the back of the engine, thinking that it was one of those pesky hoses that a lot of people will hear about. You can search I Hate Mud forums that are great and they have a lot of information. Um, and mine was leaking back here. So here's the heater control valve, and it comes off and makes a 90 into the I think it's the hot water return, or this pipe basically right here. And mine was leaking because, let's get this focus, this part of the pipe had corroded and was broken off. So you can see there's not much left there for putting attaching a hose on. It'd be pretty sparse. So I wasn't planning on doing the heater bypass. So this goes down behind the engine block and goes to the nipple that comes out of the bottom. And usually there's a little hose down there that breaks and causes a lot of issues. But with this broken off, I am going to go ahead and do bypass this pipe. Now, I'm not bypassing my heaters. A lot of people do a bypass and just take the heaters out all the way. We still drive in some cold weather, so I'd already ordered the pesky heater hose replacements, and I ended up having to get a new heater control valve because the one was old and plastic and it cracked, broke off as soon as I touched it. So I've already gone ahead and replaced all those heater hoses back there, and right now they're loose because I still need to put the pipe and the bypass over here. So I'm bypassing the pipe. I'm not bypassing my heater. So I still have my rear heater and the front heater. So what I'm going to do, I bought some silicone 5/8 heater hose. Got that at O'Reilly's. They're the only one really that carries the silicone around where I live. And I had I think this is 1-inch green stripe radiator hose. Now I've already cut it. I got it wedged back there. And I mainly put this in there as just a sheath to keep that silicone hose from contacting the back of the engine where you have a lot of heat. So I have this cut already and kind of wedged down, so now I can run the hose down and I'll make the attachment. And let me go over here. Yeah, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. This is an extra piece of green stripe that I had. And this is the silicone 5/8, and it actually is a pretty good fit. It's not too hard sliding it through. So the game plan is to slide it through, make the hookups. I also bought a 90 connector. I haven't decided I'm going to use it at the top or the bottom. Probably use it at the top to make the turn. And we'll see how it goes. I've already taken off. You have to take the wheel off and the inner fender well cover, and that kind of gives you a little more access. So, and while I did have that off, I've kind of been working on some other stuff too. But let me see if I can get this together, and then I'll try to get a picture of the final setup. All right, thanks. I shall return. All right, so we got the hose run up, and you can see it's got it connected back to the heater control valve. Got everything bolted back on, and here you can see that sleeve. When I was looking at it, maybe I'm not so much concerned about the heat, but when you take out the pipe back there, you can't reach a bolt. So you have to wiggle the pipe back and forth until you snap it. And what that leaves is the bolt with the little sharp metal tag. I tried to reach it and file it down a little, and I was able to bend it a little bit, but it's really hard to get to. So this green stripe tubing is going to be great to keep it from rubbing on it. And right now it's not really close to it, but has vibrations. I'm not sure how it'll stand up to the test of time. So got everything, all that button back up, and let me go down and I'll show you under the wheel well. Also did the vapor canister, used the GM, the the VC120 and put some new fuel lines. I was having some bad suction on my fuel tank. And now we'll go in here, and this is where we have to take the wheel off, take the cover off with these little snaps. And if you really get in here, see if I can get it to focus. Right there is the transmission dipstick. It's a two-piece. You have to take it apart. So that gives you a lot more room. You can move it around in and reach in there. So let me see if I can get it where I can. All right. So there is where it comes in. And then it goes up. I don't know if. And it goes up into the sleeve. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. Got everything snug down. You can see there's a lot of rust in here from when I had a leak. So replacing the radiator hoses. I'm going to flush everything out. I'm going to replace some vacuum hoses while I get stuff apart. Grease the front axles. Put a new thermostat in. And basically just take care of some stuff while all this is apart. Now, this definitely is it's not a 2 or 3 hour job, but it is doable. So hopefully this video helps. All right, like 3 days have gone by. I've been working on this here and there. So we got everything, I think last time we got everything buttoned up. We're just getting ready to test everything. Went ahead and did a fluid flush, and when it had air in the system, it lets rust develop. So this soupy gunk was the first flush out of the radiator, and I think I went through like 3 flushes. Then the last one, I just kind of had opened it up. If you have some 1-inch PVC, 1-inch PVC will fit into the radiator hoses. And what I did is I just took the top one right here and put a new radiator hose on it. Put the PVC connections, I squeeze it in there, and was able to run it through some PVC pipe off the side of the truck into a bucket. And then I just kind of ran it with I took the thermostat out. I didn't put one in initially so that I wouldn't have to wait for it to heat up. And just continue to flush it, put a water hose through this top inlet, let everything flush out of here with the motor running into a bucket, and just ran it until it was clear, and kept running it until you get about that clear, which was about as good as it's going to get. So once I did that, I turned the water hose off, let it finish pumping everything out until it wasn't pumping any more out, and then took the lower radiator hose out, let that drain, and also I put new radiator hoses on, and put in a new thermostat, which you have to take this heat shield off so you can get to the other bolt down here. Not a big deal. New thermostat, new radiator hoses, and went ahead and reloaded the system and flushed it out and burped it out with the pink 50/50 mix, or red, whatever they call it. And if you go to the back, you can see there's a new vacuum, new silicone heater hoses and heater control valve. All that's working so far, no leaks. Come over here. This is the VC120. I think it's like a GM canister. I was having really bad suction on my tank when I opened it up, and that has taken care of that. And I went ahead and put new fuel hoses there and replaced some other ones that I had lower while I had it off. Also put a new fuel filter in, because if you have that all the inside off to reach that pesky hose and that bypass, which you remember I did the bypass, and you see there it's going into the green stripe. Silicone runs to the green stripe, runs to the back behind the intake manifold down there. So now just real quick on. So here's the original fuel filter. I replaced it with another Toyota one, and I did slot it there's a lot of videos about slotting it and get it back easier to put in, which was a lot easier. There's my broken heater control valve, some cracked fuel lines, and here's the original vapor canister, the Denso, which is a metal canister. And when you pull it out, it has a the vent hose is connected to the bottom, and it goes down into the below the motor outside of the. And you don't really need that. The new one actually is has a cap on the bottom, and it takes air in at the bottom, so that should be good. And I replaced my front steering dampener. And just to recap, this is the heater tube that runs behind the engine, and that the top right there is what broke off. I was giving my leaking. I didn't have any leaky hose. I had a leaky pipe because that had broken off. And that is the tab that you have to wiggle for about 13 or 14 minutes until you go insane to break off, because you cannot reach that bolt in the back, or at least I can. I'm probably a little bigger than the average person. Maybe there's a retired Toyota engineer laughing about putting that bolt in there. So that should be pretty much it. Hopefully this helps. So there's a lot of videos out there. Texas Know-How, his YouTube channel, I'll definitely recommend that. You know, I have a lot of stuff off there. I also repacked the knuckles, lubed everything, changed the oil, and kind of did some stuff like that since I had everything down. So it was kind of a big maintenance project, but it was worth it. I got a road trip going up to the mountains, some snow and stuff, so I wanted to make sure everything's running tip top. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them this way, and y'all have a good day and fun wheeling.